Well, my name's Keith Brown, and well, pottery is just kind of a way of life has been for Catawba people, or just something that has been part of the community, part of growing up. I remember the first time seeing anybody really working in pottery was I was probably 6, 7, 8 years old, somewhere like that, and at the old ferry down on the river where Grandpa Early lived there, and his spouse and grandchildren. I just remember seeing the women out there, Granny Emma and maybe Aunt Evelyn and some of the others sitting there. They were making pottery, scraping pottery, building stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And stuff,
So when did you start learning to make pottery, and who taught you?
Well, my first experiences with putting my hands in the clay was probably when I was around 14 years old. I used to stay with Grandma Edith a bit, and I would help her mix up the clay, and then help her fire finished pottery pieces. I never really, at that time, thought too much about it, but then later on, after 3 years in the Army, I came back home, and it was 1976. I started. They had a class, pottery class, and Grandma helped teach it. Grandma Edith and Francis was the person that led the group, organized the stuff, and so I was part of that group. It was it lasted. Maybe about 6 months, I think.
Wow.
Altogether, but I started, and I was put responsible for digging the clay. That's the first time I remember, Grandma Edith and Francis taking me over to Nesbitt's property over there,
Mm-hmm.
and showing me where to get the clay.
Yeah.
And so, and then from there, we used to go dig pan clay quite a bit. And then back then, and it was over on a place, Davis property, across the river over there too, but a little further down the river from where the Essex is at. But if you go to across the river to Crossroads,
Mm-hmm.
first of all, you turn right and back around there, maybe a mile or so. There was a black gentleman over there, Davis's, and there was pan clay back on the creek down there. At the Native American Station, you've seen those, probably the pictures of your
Mm-hmm.
grandpa or
Roy Brown,
yeah, down in there. It was a place, back in like a cave.
Yeah.
It was a small cave that they were back.
It's real different than where we
Yeah.
dig now.
Yeah, and I went. We used to go down there and get class. I mean, with the whole class at some time, and there was quite a number of people that attended the class. Your grandma.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I know my grandma Peggy was in that
Yeah,
class.
she went. I remember her being part of that class, and we'd go down there and dig clay back then too.
Yeah.
And like I say, that's where I started, of course, digging the clay and preparing the clay and getting it ready. I still think about how I can't imagine how I provided enough clay, had enough clay for the people that were in that class.
Yeah.
And for that.
So there's a lot of people to prepare clay for.
Yeah, and I did that for about midway that I got married and looked for another job that paid more, so I left from over there probably in August or something like that. And then shortly, a few months later, I went back in the Army.
Yeah.
And did mess with clay for a long time until I came back home in '93.
But you remembered.
Yes,
lessons.
yeah. Well, I'm slow learning. I didn't really do too much coiling of pottery until, I don't know, for a couple of years or so. I just do some pinch pots.
Mm-hmm.
So I've seen people, and I still see people talk to, and even like Eric. Well, I made 3 pieces today. Heck, I had to take me a week to make 3 sometimes. Or unless the pipes, I can make pipes and little turtles and stuff like that.
Right.
Pretty quick line.
Yeah. Some people are faster at building.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. I think I'm a little probably more your speed. It takes me a while.
Yeah.
Do you remember the first piece of pottery you ever made and what it was?
Oh. I ever remember the very first thing about it, but I do have a couple things that were first piece of stuff that I made. I don't know if I've got one of them out here or not, but I do. I did a peace pipe. I remember doing a peace pipe.
That's a hard piece.
Yeah, and a couple other pieces I've done, but I remember doing a pot with an Indian head on it. It's in the house, I'm sure. It's about, not too big, but it's got it had 2 Indian heads on it. One of them broke off, so it's still.
So now it's one.
Yeah, I get that, but I remember the peace pipe I'd made. I didn't get the chance to fire that peace pipe. And after I got married, my mother-in-law got that peace pipe. I made it in 1976, and it never got fired. And then when she passed away, I said, well, I want my pottery. I got it back from her in 93, I think it was. Well, no, I got it back from her in 93 before she passed away. And I fired that piece, and then she got it back and kept it until about, she passed away in 97, so I got it back. And I still have it.
So are there any tools or like pottery techniques that you still use today that you learned in that in that class that you took in the 1970s, or even that you remember watching Edith do when you were helping her when you were a kid? Like any things you still use today that you learned back then?
Well, I guess of course the basic techniques of coiling the pottery pieces and smoothing together, just the basic techniques. I guess that, and rubbing the pottery. Today, I see a lot of people have some very highly shined pieces of pottery, and mine aren't like that.
Yeah.
Mine aren't. I wish sometimes, but maybe it's just my technique or my impatience of not letting them dry enough. But anyway, I remember seeing my grandmother, with her, she'd be rubbing pottery, and then she'd take her stones out. She'd, rub, like this on the nose. I thought her nose was itching, and she was getting out oils from her.
I've heard that.
And
I've heard those stories too.
I still do that too. Forehead or something like that, up here, and it does the trick. So.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. Like some of the tricks that they learned, like even using the dried corn cob to pull up the coils. Like that works better than any tool you can buy on Amazon. I think. Like it's amazing that they were so resourceful with what was around them to be able to make their pottery.
Yeah. They used to use a lot of, I have, my potter's tools that, it's okay if I'm just a minute. Like these modern pottery tools like this that I get to use, but this, just like a shell from a piece of gourd, I use that quite a bit to, scrape on or smooth on the inside, and this is on the outside, but back when I was first learning, and before, back those days, they used a lot of, other instruments like a lid off a can of Spam or something like that, or lids off, this would be, like a round lid off a can of salmon or something,
Yeah. Bill has from his grandma's tools, like the end of the biscuits, like the the tube
Round.
of biscuits, and you know how it has
Yeah,
that metal end on it. She
Right,
would
yeah.
keep those and use them as a pottery tool.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. They're very resourceful.
Yeah, yeah, and I use I still use it, you know, like corn cobs stuff, you know.
Yeah.
And you know, River King knives and stuff like that.
Yeah.
There's-
I think it's great that we have the modern tools like that,
Oh, yeah.
but it's nice to try to use some of the tools that we know of that have been passed
Yeah,
down
the history
from our
and-
ancestors. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you remember anything when you were making pottery or learning to make pottery? Do you remember anything like being really hard to learn? Like any challenges you felt like you had when you were learning to make pottery?
I guess, like I say, I think the coiling and attaching the coils, smoothing, getting the coils together, and you know, like that. That's why I think I make a lot of pipes. I'm noted more or less for pipe making, and they're easier to make. They're quicker. I think I do you know, after some practice, you know, some experience, I think I do a pretty good job with my different pieces, such as, you know, this one here, the snake pipe, and I've done different styles of the snake pipe where, you know, you may have seen where just like an elbow shape, and I would wrap the snake around there.
I have seen that, yeah.
Yeah, and I don't think I have any of those, that one, but I like this one, turned out pretty well. And of course, I do a lot of turtle pipes. I have pipes in my thing there, but this is a one, you know, when I first started making turtle pipes, I made them, you know, kind of like this, with this kind of form, but I changed it and started, you know, doing it differently and putting the turtle, you know, in a different way. But this first one I made like that in a while, and I think I'm gonna make a few more because I like that one too.
Yeah, and I feel like when you have those for sale, they get sold pretty quick usually.
Yeah, last pottery piece I had, I think last time I made some pipes sold.
Yeah. So what does pottery mean to you personally?
Well, it means that I'm carrying on the tradition of my people. I feel like it's a responsibility sometimes to do it, you know, and but I've got to at the same time enjoy. I've got to be creative about it and stick to. I think a lot of the basic what I call forms, you know, and there's nothing wrong with, you know, doing things, you know, making. I like to look. I have a book that shows a lot of the old pottery pieces. It's called Sundials and Hands or something like that. You ever seen that book?
Yes, I think I have.
Yeah, and it has a lot of old pottery pieces in it. So I try to do somewhat like with that. You know, attempt to do something similar to
Yeah.
that. You know, such as the turtle. You know, turtle pie or turtle bowls or frogs or something like that. I've got some pieces. I hope to fire some pieces. I don't have too many, but on Thursday this week it's supposed to be, I think, a pretty nice day.
So how do you feel when you're working with clay? I think you kind of touched on that a little bit, like that connection.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit more about that.
Well, I have to think. You know, I think back to and you know, a lot of times, you know, about the people that I knew, you know, personally, that did pottery, and I was wound up coming up and thinking about them, you know, and all the hands that have been into the pottery, you know, Sarah Ayers was a well-known potter, but you know, I didn't spend any time with Sarah. I didn't you know, really know her since she lived in Columbia, but in the later years, Uncle Fox would come, you know, when he was on executive, and he always came up and, you know, and he made a lot of pipes.
I was gonna say he did pottery like on his own as well, right?
Yeah. So I got several different pipes, different forms that he's made. Like I said, I got those up there. That one's Grandma Edith's in the corner over there, and Aunt Evelyn's and Mama's and Florence's and different ones. So I think Lib Plyler, something about Lib, and Faye, and some Susan and Joanne and all those.
Yeah.
And Margaret Robbins. And I have a few other things up there. One made by Warren Sanders.
Oh yeah.
Some stuff. I got a lot of old broken up stuff that didn't come out good, and I got stuff that I started on I hadn't ever finished. There's some dry stuff sitting right there, Ken, right there.
Oh yeah, I see that.
Yeah. And get started on it and then turn around or get away from it. Let's see, I got something here. I need to finish this up. I think of it.
Oh yeah, that's a good goal.
But this is not the Catawba clay. I don't think. No, this is some other clay.
Oh okay.
And see, it's cracked a little bit. It's in there.
I think we do often when we're doing pottery, do think of those people that we've worked with before or taught us, because.
Oh, just that there, and I think this is something I should have never finished working on it. You can see right there, you can see the coils sometimes in it. Pottery, if you look at some old watch, you can see the coils, and maybe I got it together good, and maybe I did. But this could be finished up if I just kind of wet it back down some and scrape it. Yeah, it's kind of rough. I don't know why I've done that so many times. Start on something.
Yeah, and then you get distracted with something else.
Yeah, I still think about a lot of them other people like that. Like talking about your great grandmother there. That they got hardly. I remember Miss Beulah one time telling. That she traded one of her first piece of pottery for a pair of shoes, and those sort of things. And
I know from seeing those pieces right there, you've done pottery with your daughters. Maybe you've also done it with some of your grandchildren. I know you've taught classes at the Cultural Center. I took a class from you many years ago. I know Kent recently took a class from you.
Right.
So tell us about why you feel it's important to continue teaching Catawba pottery.
Because it's really part of our lineage. It's something that needed to be kept. It was a gift I think Creator gave to our people, and it's important to maintain it and to carry it on. Like I say, so that we remember. These people here that I have photographs of, and that we remember them, and as long as we remember them, they're never gone. They're still with us. It's when they're forgotten.
And I know you've done some one-on-one mentoring. I know you worked with Cassandra, and I know you worked with Teresa. What have those types of experiences been like for you, like teaching people one-on-one?
Well, they've helped me to learn. Also, I don't really consider myself that much of a teacher, but as I'm teaching them, all the way I know how to teach is the way people always learn was by sitting down and just watching and building something, and and giving them pointers as they're building, showing them, hey, you need to do it this way, you do this, suggest you do that, and everybody is individual artists, and they're going to adapt and their own little style in a Catawba way, Catawba tradition. As long as it's within our realm of traditional way of coiling and scraping and rubbing it.
Right. keeping the tradition, but then maybe adding their creativity to
Yes.
it. Yeah. What do you hope that your students learn, not just about making Catawba pottery, but about being Catawba when they put their hands in clay?
I think I hope they learn a sense of pride, sense of, Creator give us all gifts. I always say that, a lot of people, well, it gives us a gift and that we need to expand on. Need to recognize, be grateful for the gift that we have, and that that they learn about the history at the same time. I mean the history of where people came from, their lifestyles, and other than maybe the pottery making, a little bit about the spirituality.
Yeah, I agree. Do you have a favorite piece that you've ever made?
A favorite that I've made.
Or anything that stands out to you that you made?
Well, I like this piece. I thought it turned out pretty good. Except for the break in it, and I've chipped it around a little bit because I've carried it for the last 18 years or so, here and there. And I burned a lot of sage in it one time. It kind of helps, and I should have put some more to kind of help seal it up a little bit. And the design, I did a pretty good job.
You did a great job on the design.
Yeah, with that, and so.
Yeah, that's a beautiful piece.
And I've seen some other pieces. Sometimes I go back and I see stuff that I've made, and I said, I did a pretty good job sometimes. And when I see it displayed somewhere, and it looks good. Sometimes I've seen some pieces that I've done and I wasn't particularly too proud of.
Same. I think we've all felt that way before. Lost my place. Let's see. What role do you feel like Catawba pottery plays in keeping Catawba culture and identity alive?
It's something, I think it plays an important role because it's something that's been pretty continuous. And just like our people have struggled, but we still, been continuous as a nation with our own, government, our own, identity, and Catawba pottery has helped hold that together. So I think it plays a very important role of allowing us to come together. And recent years things have expanded with the culture, and they have teaching different classes in basketry.
Right.
One day I might like to try that. I haven't done that, but
yeah,
I
love that they restored the river cane practices with the basketry.
Yeah, and making, I did a class on arrow making too. So, yeah, but I think the pottery has been the mainstay, and kind of said, well, there's more, looked at it nowadays as, hey, there's more to us than just the pottery.
Yeah.
So, and it's helped to with today's generation of people that are doing the basketry and arrow making and blow guns, those sort of things.
Yeah. What kind of advice would you give to a Catawba person who's just starting to learn pottery?
Do the very best job that you can on the pottery. Take pride in it. Do something that you're going to be proud of, that's something that, I think I remember when I first got involved with pottery with Miss Francis and Grandma Edith, That's what Francis would tell us, back then. Be proud of what you're doing. Do a good job, because she said, I remember saying, I see some people do some pieces I wouldn't give a plug nickel for, but so we're doing good.
Right.
Yeah. And yeah, it takes practice. Be patient.
Yeah.
You be willing to start over, break down, start over, learn all the techniques and from someone who's done it before, that's experienced and practiced, for a number of years, that you can learn. There's all sorts of little techniques of patching stuff up when you're beginning or paying attention whenever you doing something, calling something, make sure it is smooth together good. I have problems. One of the things I have is with the rims and getting them.
Same. That's one of the hardest things, I think.
Yeah. Some of them, I do a pretty good job, but I have, the top rims on those things. I can always tell my pieces. Because when you put it together, I always found out where you put it together, there's a weak spot there where you join the spot together, and you got to be careful about that.
Right.
It's just that, I did the best that I could. And I put some spirit into it, some spirituality and some love, and hopefully some humility in it.
So those are the questions we had prepared. Is there anything else that you want to share about your journey of making pottery, or teaching others, or anything you want recorded for future generations about pottery?
No, I don't. I can't think of anything. It's just that I still like to talk. There's a lot of people have gone on that that I knew that could sit, and older people sit and talk to about pottery making, and of course we always talk about everybody else and everything else, and about the olden days, the fire and the pottery, where they fired the pottery, and the techniques that were used to fire the pottery compared to today, and